workers for a new contract. You take a scene right behind me, almost 40,000 members of the Communications Workers of America and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers in 9 states along the East Coast, including Washington, D.C.
This runs north to south. You can see these cars are heading north. We're looking south, and if you look, now that the sun is up, you can see that the smoke reflecting off the high beams. It looks like low-lying fog, but it actually is smoke. This smoke is thick. There's actually signage just south of here warning drivers to be cautious on their morning commute because just how thick that smoke is. Again, you can smell that smoke. You can see that smoke.
As you can see in the picture right there, this is what I know at this point. Approximately 240 people were aboard that train.
I did speak with one individual who lives on the 13th block of Walnut who was evacuated earlier this morning. Here's what he had to say.
Fire alarm blast at around 4:30 a.m. Bolted right out of bed, threw on some clothes, ran down the stairs, and I'm out here with several hundred people.
You can see smoke is still pouring from what is being called a structure fire. Again, I'm told this was uninhabited. It is a construction zone. You can see crews are going in and working this fire at this hour. We will be live here all morning long in the heart of the neighborhood. Reporting live in Philadelphia, I'm Zachary Lazary, PHL 17 News.
All right, thank you.
2 lanes of traffic are getting by, coming westbound over the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. Here you can see traffic moving just fine. It is starting to slow a little bit because it's becoming more constant, and that's because of the overturned tractor trailer behind me here at the base of the Benjamin Franklin Bridge here on the Philadelphia side. She says is the most excited non-Catholic in from out of town. With me this morning is Kim Elizabeth Manning. We became friends very quick. I know you are originally from Philadelphia. You moved out to the West Coast, and that's where you're living, but you're back to do what?
I am back to volunteer for the World Meeting of Families and for the Red Cross. When I found out that the Pope was coming to my hometown, I said I have to come here.
Folks will be watching that, especially from New Jersey. They will be watching Mr. Trump himself, who has ties to Atlantic City, and obviously their governor, Chris Christie.
Time is just so critical.
And we'll be free. We'll be here as well.
Yep.
As well as this guy right here.
There he is.
Phil Harper. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Philadelphia. How are you?
How's it going? So we're talking to you and coming up, talking about the event. I'm very excited to be here today.
Couldn't be more excited. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful arena. They're going to be, 4,000 young 8th graders here from all over the city, and we're going to talk about financial literacy, financial education, something that's actually missing in many ways in traditional education in the schools. And so to have the Sixers support us, Mass Mutual has stepped up to the plate in a big way to support us and create this whole Future Smart Challenge.
Gotcha. We'll have more coming up here from the Wells Fargo Center.
There we go.
Talk about a tease. Back to you. Why do you think people should come out and vote tomorrow? What's your final push?
Well, I don't think they should come out and vote for me. They should come out and vote. That's their responsibility. And I think if you look at our country's history, there are so many folks in our country that were denied the right to vote during the 40s, 50s, 60s, and during the Civil Rights Movement.
Yes, well, I know the deal is on. It's supposed to be happening today. I know it's a little wet out here, so bear with me. I'm here to help. I'm here to give you a few tips to make that task a little easier today. Folks are supposed to gather here for a discussion among the candidates. With me is the one and only Greg Lazinski. Greg, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Why don't you tell me, you have a menu here.
Today we're going to be jumping out of a helicopter. We're going to have 4 jumpers today.
The strong winds and these cold temperatures, it's making battling this fire very difficult. It is under control. I just spoke with a public information officer, and he told me that they got the fire under control just before 6:30 this morning. And the roads appear to be quite clear, and that seems to be the trend here along Kelly Drive. As you can see, traffic moving eastbound is moving just fine. This is one of the concerns this morning, black ice. And as you can see, I am just gliding down Fleming Street. I'm gonna run off over here because I don't want to crash into my cameraman.
We rescue dogs from kill shelters and we bring them into the prison and we pair them with inmates so that the inmates can train the dogs to give them a better chance at adoptions.
We were picked out of 700 women from Riverside Correctional Facility. Only 8 of us were picked. So I took it's a new opportunity, a new chance. So I'm down for it.
What it means for the prison is an opportunity for them to, 1, get in touch with the compassion within them while they're working with the dogs, and 2, when they're released, an opportunity to get gainful employment once they're released with the skills that they learn.
It means a lot. It means that society has not forgot about me. It's given me a second chance on life. It's
a great opportunity for me. My dog is a little afraid, so it's exciting because I'm afraid too. So we both can share that and getting over it together.
They don't see the inmates as inmates. They see them as people who's going to provide love and care for them.
Good girl, yeah.
They're going to learn positive reinforcement training with dogs. They're also going to learn some medical through our vet tech that's going to come in and work with them about shelter medicine and how to care for your dog, grooming. And they're also going to learn 6 weeks of life skills to make better decisions in life and also job readiness.
They feel loved. They feel loved. I don't know how, most of them were abused in their life, and now it's a great opportunity to show them love. And they feel it already. They're happy.
From darkness and deafening silence to sudden tense moments.
Step back in the car. Sir, let me see your hands.
And to the chilling warnings to an armed suspect from police.
Hands, gun. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands.
What you are seeing is not real, but a simulation. One of over 100 scenarios based on real-life events.
Get on the ground right now.
Feeling so real, hearts race and palms sweat.
Shots fired. K2, I got one male on foot.
Sergeant John Martinez of Camden County Police picks simulations on the high-tech Virtuous system that uses cameras, surround sound, and video projected on thin walls.
There's over 150 different scenarios in here. It goes all the way from active shooter, all the way down to a regular traffic stop or a suspicious person call. It actually even has incidents for when you're off duty.
Virtua costs $350,000.
It's going to be a blue Hyundai, occupied twice.
One of only 6 systems like it across the country. Helpful to many officers using it, especially those adept at technology and who grew up with computers and video games.
That has come to play a certain role in a beneficial way for us as a police department. They are more in tune to the specific details of certain situations because they've prepared through those video games, through those virtual realities that they've gone through.
But Sergeant Martinez adds the system makes clear that policing is not a game on the streets or when facing an active shooter or mass shooting situation.
Put the gun down!
You can practice baseball, you can practice football. You can't practice real-life police scenarios to the full extent you would like to. So this machine right here allows us to do that and keep them as safe as possible.
A lot of this stuff is just constantly being improved, which is refreshing. Back in the day when they started doing this, they only had these boards.
And that's the way it was at the Lee Brothers Cranberry Farm from 1868 until the 1960s.
We used to pick scoop cranberries by hand with a wooden scoop. And you try not to go too deep, but you just go through and get a few. And in the process, you would drop berries.
And when farmers would flood the bogs during the winter months to protect the crops, those berries that had fallen weeks before floated.
And they called them floaters.
Eventually changing the way cranberries would be harvested. And how do you know cranberries can float? Because they have air pockets on the inside.
The fact that they do float makes harvesting them much easier.
And the concept of water harvesting was created.
Why don't we pick the whole crop this way?
Ultimately saving farms a lot of time.
The harvest season typically took from about the first part of September until at least the end of October, sometimes going into the beginning of November.
With water harvesting,
it takes us 2.5 weeks to do approximately 130 acres.
So how does water harvesting work?
Take all the components, the heavy stuff, the motor, the hydraulic pump, the hydraulic tank, the fuel tank, all the really heavy equipment, and you float it behind it on a boat. Then the ground pressure from the tires is minimal.
Which is better for the crop.
The way the picker is designed, it has reels.
Once the berries are buoyant, it's time to round them up. Does this work your abs or your back?
The fruit gets pumped up into the box and it goes down that cascade that you saw. There's those nozzles that wash it off.
And then it's off to be sold. The scenic red luscious fruit landscaping South Jersey will soon be at a table near you.